Hello and most welcome to 836. It's going quick here, and as I was mentioning earlier, what is knowledge and the limitations for knowledge. One of those things is we see ourselves as bystanders. You can perceive the whole thing as you're looking at reality at a distance, and that is easiest to perceive when we think of space as such. What is space? From a long distance, it's far away, and everything becomes very clear what is positive or what is negative. The same goes for knowledge. We make knowledge something at a distance, it becomes very far away and hard to grasp. What is behind knowledge? It becomes obscured, and those are the binary positions or binary polarities we're talking about. And the idea stemming originally from the mirror image. The mirror image is, one could say from one perspective, a bleak copy of what a mirror is or what an image is. It's hard to tell because you can't see yourself as such, but it does give the impression something is lacking. There is some sort of what can I say, destruction of information, and there is a deviation as well. The whole idea is that you look into something comes back to you, and it's not the same thing as you are. And the odd thing is you can't really see yourself, so you don't know if it is identical. But from here stem the very Western idea of identity, something being the very same, not something that is deviating. And one could say this is the start, the very birth of perfectionism, or the essence idea, that in or behind everything that appears, everything that is present to us, there is something of an essence, even clearer thing, something that is eternal, unchanging, always behind all and everything. And voila, what do we have? We have the atom of Democritus. Democritus was the first one that really constructed something that lingers on for 2.5 millennia. And that core idea is behind everything there is something else that is indestructible, it's permanent, it's perpetually the same. And here we have the atom. And the atom had such a strong force that it sort of went into the reality of physics as well. And until quantum mechanics, or maybe a bit earlier, already 10 to 15 years before the advent of quantum mechanics, 1926-25, the atom has had as an idea died within physics. But the good thing or the bad thing, depending how you see it, is the idea of something original and unchanging is still very present, because the mirror image is so strong. Actually, it is something that underpins all what we say about reality. We always want to come to the core thing. We want to extract things. There's even a saying in Spanish, al grano, get to the real stuff, see what is behind. And often in my lectures, when I speak on quantum mechanics, I usually some instance in the lecture said quantum mechanics dispels the idea of an original essence as an atom. And then people immediately ask me, so what do we have instead? And I think that is extremely telling how persistent this idea is. And it won't be enough with a reply, there is no such a thing as an essence, because we have to rebuild the whole system and have a system, a perception of ideas that does not have in its demand that there is an original principle or an original essence. And the same thing actually holds for deconstruction itself. I mentioned in the previous lecture 835 that I myself encountered deconstruction in the format of there being a pure, original, fundamental essence behind Derrida's deconstruction. And that essence, I remember now, there was actually difference. Difference underlied everything, and difference was also the outmost explanation for everything. So whatever you encountered in the world, it could also always be granulated or cut into pieces until you find something that is difference. So difference was the essence of Derrida. And that also shows that even such a clear movement as deconstruction can be twisted and turned until it becomes what it tries to reveal. It's like a policeman becomes a burglar or a burglar becomes a policeman. I bet you those two things really have happened before. And philosophy doesn't seem to be an exception. But to my surprise, when I start reading about deconstruction as essence, it turned out that Derrida wanted something quite dissimilar to that striving. What he wants to show is something more encompassing, something more comprehensive, and something that actually helps you, gives you a method, an action to do. Whereas I would say traditional philosophy today is unusable just outside its own area. It doesn't stretch outside its own text. It's incredibly limited. Something I often heard, and often to their own dismay, they were never happy about that, but it could at sometimes also be something to brag about, because you are enchained somehow, you cannot escape, and in the end you will start to say that I like my prison. And some people say, I really like logic. Yeah, what can you use it for? Well, nothing outside of logic as itself. And I think that is as circular as it possibly can get. It doesn't get really any more circular than that. You actually, in that very process, ended yourself and all striving for something that could be perceived to be usable, a method that you can always use, and that you can progress, refine, and you can turn it to each and other area where it's needed. Otherwise, it doesn't serve any purpose at all. And it seems that the very purposelessness of modern academic subjects is what they hold as a watermark for something that is good, or something similar that they perceive to be good or usable. It's not. We need something that we can use in our daily life, and it should never ever be a difference in knowledge when it comes to body and mind. It should make both mind and the body more directed. Otherwise it's just sheer pure nonsense. It's some sort of platitude. It should be wholesome, in all aspects, and it should suffice to be sort of a balance that balance you up and make you more perceptible to reality, more open to what is reality. This is something that is mentioned on page 191, and it's called Transcending Knowledge, and I will continue with that after a little sec here. That will be part 2 of this one.